Hey guys, Dave from Timber Time Outdoors. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, thanks for tuning in. Today we are going to talk about one of my favorite tools that allows me to get out in the outdoors. It allows me to tow my fifth wheel camper. And this right here is the Andersen fifth wheel hitch. So if you're watching this video, it's likely that you are a camper and that you are either switching from a bumper pull or you already have a fifth wheel and just would like a better system. And I can't say enough good about the Andersen hitch, so I'm so happy with the decision I made. But this video is basically going to kind of show you about what the things I like about it. I'll kind of show you how to use it. And you know, there really isn't any dislikes that I can think of. But stay tuned here. We'll talk a little bit about the Andersen hitch and why it's a good fit for pulling a fifth wheel. So thanks for tuning in and keep it in the timber, everybody.
Hey now, take a step outside and seize the day now.
So let's talk about the pros and cons of the Andersen hitch. I honestly cannot think of any cons of any kind. Now, I haven't used a regular fifth wheel hitch at all. So if I had used one of those and there were some things I liked about that better than this, I might have a con, but I don't have any. But I can talk about a lot of things I do like. So number one, the noise. I mean, it's very, very quiet. There's no chucking. Everything is super solid. So I just love how quiet it is. You know, strength-wise, I guess, you know, I have no way to prove that it's strong, but, you know, all the specifications are way above what I need. One of the things I really love is that, you know, it's super easy to store. So I can lift this thing out, I can store it right underneath my fifth wheel. I can leave it in the bed of the truck if I want to. There's all kinds of room. So you can see, like, right in here, this is where I either do the bikes or I keep the generator. And then on this side, I've got room for those bins over there. They sit right in here. And then there's room on the sides, you know. And, you know, when the camper's on here, you lose some vertical, I guess. But even, you know, right here, you have plenty of room. And I just love that I don't really have to worry about it. You know, I did a bumper pull for years and, you know, used the bed of my truck for so many things. And I was really worried about when I went to a fifth wheel that I'd lose the bed of my truck and all that storage. And I got to be honest, really haven't lost a thing. I can't think of anything I used to do with the bumper pull that I don't do with the fifth wheel. So you know, it's a fear that's there, but to be honest, it really doesn't make a difference. At least with the Andersen hitch, you know, you can take it out so easily or just leave it in. You know, it just doesn't take up that much room. So some of the marketing here, that's actually pretty darn true. You know, a lot of marketing isn't, but the lightest, smoothest, quietest, strongest fifth wheel hitch in the world. I'm not sure about strongest. I can definitely tell you it's super light. It is butter smooth and it doesn't make any noise whatsoever. No chucking, none of that. It's very solid. And it's one of the reasons that I went with this was I hate hitches that make noise. So I used to have a bumper pull and I used to use a weight distribution hitch. And so those of you that do that will know what I'm talking about. A weight distribution hitch, at least some of them anyway, they squeak, they squeal, they make all kinds of noise, and you don't know if something broke or if it's just supposed to do that. And so I wanted a quiet way to tow my fifth wheel, and I got to tell you, this bad boy lives up to that. And it's super light. I mean, you know, I think it's like 35 pounds. I mean, that was very little effort, one hand. You know, it's a little cumbersome, so you do have to use two hands for it. But yeah, very light, very quiet. So guys, one of the things that people hesitate about when they think about the Andersen hitch is, it's made out of aluminum, so that can scare some people. They don't think aluminum is strong, which is completely false. In some cases, depending on the design, aluminum can be stronger than steel. But they're worried about it, you know, just failing overall. And you know, this thing has been tested to death. You know, it's rated at 4,500 pounds tongue weight, which, you know, that is like 3 times of what any fifth wheel is. And then 24,000 pounds. I mean, I think the fifth wheel behind me here, this thing, it fully loaded is probably 12,000 pounds, you know, so it's, it's easily twice what it needs to be. So if you have any fears about strength, I gotta be honest with you, the way this is designed, the way it distributes the weight throughout the bed of your truck is actually, to me, a lot better than a traditional fifth wheel hitch. So you've got, you know, high grade aluminum and a better overall design to distribute weight. I can get a lot of stuff in the bed of my truck, even if I leave that hitch in there, you know, and it isn't no big deal to take it out. You got to loosen a few bolts and pull a pin and it comes right out of there. But I just leave it in, you know. It fits below my my tonneau cover, and you can see I got a couple of bikes in there. Sometimes I will put my generator back there. Fits perfectly. So I have a Yamaha 3000 generator. This generator rides right in front of the Andersen hitch, and it just works really well. You know, if you need air conditioning or staying at a Walmart parking lot or something, I really like the way the Andersen hitch allows you to use the bed of your truck for things like a generator. In this area, I usually put a couple of big bins. Bikes, 2 bins, or I can put my generator there, the 2 bins, and then the hitch itself, when I hook up, I got it up kind of high right now, but normally it's down here and just goes right in between, right down on the ball hitch. Guys, this is the tow vehicle. So it's a 2018 Ford Lariat F250 with diesel, and I guess for the purposes of this video, what's important is the bed size. So I just have the short box, and where that comes into play is depending on how you have it set up, you have to worry about sometimes these campers coming around and either hitting the cab here, which is bad, or sometimes this right here will rotate around and hit the bed rails, especially on these Fords. So you've got a couple choices with the way that the coupler works. The normal way is actually 180 degrees, and so the round part is actually over here, and that basically puts the whole camper further away from the truck, so you have basically no risk of hitting the cab. But what happens with that setup, at least for me on this Ford, is when this comes around on a tight turn, this can hit here. Okay, so you got to kind of make a choice. Do I want to be careful about my cab, or do I want to be careful about the bed rails? And most people are probably like, well, I don't want to hit the cab, that'd be super expensive. But when I did the test, it was pretty safe either way. I mean, you'd have to take a super tight turn for it to hit in either scenario. But for me, I felt like I could watch the cab a little easier. I can't really see the bed rails when I'm driving, but I can kind of see the cab and use my mirrors and so forth. And so that's why I did it. But I haven't hit anything, and I've taken plenty of tight turns. So I have it set up kind of 180 degrees from, I guess, the standard setup. But I will mention one thing about my camper. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but I do have some pretty significant cutouts here in the cap. I know not all fifth wheels are that way, so you gotta kind of like, go to a parking lot and figure out how to set it up and what's going to work for you. But I can safely say this: one of the situations is going to work really well for you, even with a short box truck. If you have a long box, this is not a non-issue. So guys, one of the things that this does is adjusts in height. So depending on the truck you have and the fifth wheel that you have, the ball height probably needs to be adjusted. And so they've got that taken care of here. They have 3 different settings. I keep mine on the lowest setting. But you just pull this pin out, pull that pin out, and then you can see you got 3 holes. Super easy. Basically set it and forget it. So one of the things I did with Andersen Hitch closure latch is I didn't drill it in. I used magnets. These are some pretty strong magnets. Got them on Amazon, I believe. And it holds really well, and it also gives me a place to hang my cord for the trailer lights. I use the bed rug, and provides a nice soft layer in between the Andersen hitch and the bed of my truck. You can see it leaves a little mark here, but that actually kind of comes out over time. A couple weeks it pops back up. So one of the things that you have to use the Andersen hitch is you have to have a gooseneck ball installed in your truck bed. So there's a million things to research when it comes to how to mount a fifth wheel hitch. This truck didn't come with anything, so I ended up installing what's called the puck system. So you've got like 4 pucks. There's a great big plate that mounts to the frame of the truck. I put that in myself. It was actually really easy. I purchased this Gooseneck Ball, which I use all the time. You can see it's kind of rusty. Well, it's just got some dirt in it actually, but I use this all the time because I have a gooseneck dump trailer. So it's kind of a win-win for me to purchase this ball. And I just leave it in here all the time, and it works really well for the Andersen hitch. And then you've got the puck system here, which is actually designed for a traditional fifth wheel. But these right here, I have some, I don't have them with me, but they go in and you can do your safety chains. And the safety chains are not required on fifth wheels in some states. In my state, they don't require them, so I don't use them. But there's a couple ways to do safety chains. The Andersen hitch comes with a plate that you can buy and lets you hook in kind of right here. Or you can use your puck system, but you have to drill some pretty big holes in the Andersen base, which I don't think would weaken it whatsoever, but you can kind of see the imprint right here. You would just have some clearance holes and you could do it that way. Alright guys, so to mount the Andersen hitch, you basically have your gooseneck ball is going to fall into this cavity right here. So you pull that pin out. And it just falls over top of that. Then you install your pin. And then you'll need a torque wrench. So there's a bolt on top that basically kind of cinches this down tight here. And then on the back side, there's a couple bolts. So when you're tightening these bolts down, you want to have the tongue weight of the fifth wheel on here to kind of compress things, especially when you have a bed rug. Just it makes everything tighter. You could probably crank the heck out of this bolt and get it close, but it just works a lot better if you put the camper on here, get some tongue weight on, tighten this up to 60 foot-pounds, and then you tighten these two bolts to 40 foot-pounds. So I just have a dedicated torque wrench just in the camper. All right, guys, let's wrap up this video here, the review of the Andersen hitch. Just a wonderful way to pull a fifth wheel. Super happy with it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button. You know, most of our content is out in the forest with chainsaws and that kind of thing, but you know, I love getting outside with my RV too, so I thought I'd share a few tips that I have. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Take care, everybody. Keep